Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Blair Lamb and I'm so glad that you're here. Today we're going to talk a little bit about sort of motherhood expectations versus reality and how I had certain expectations for how I would feel and what it would be like to have little babies around versus how it actually was and the intense reality of that, and just kind of want to give some space for other mothers to process through those thoughts and feelings as well. Today's video is brought to you by Aura Frames, which is a sponsor that I have worked with a couple of times in the past. I actually have a frame right here so that I can show you, and I'll also put up some footage of the one that we have. They are really awesome Wi-Fi connected digital picture frames. This is the one that we have in our back room, and it is just so wonderful. So basically, you can upload unlimited photos and videos from anywhere in the world using the free Aura app with no fees. You can also invite your favorite people to share and interact and enjoy the photos on your frame as well. We have found this to be such a great solution to the problem of having literally tens of thousands of photos and videos on our phones that we never get to enjoy after that moment has passed. So now I regularly go on to the Aura app, I add photos to our frame, and we also have gifted my mother-in-law a frame, and then we're gifting this frame to my parents. And so I can just go onto the app and flip between all the different frames that I have in my account. So I go to my mother-in-law's frame and add a batch of new photos of our kids and family into that frame, and then I can do the same for my parents. Setup is super easy and quick. It's perfect for a gift for a not tech savvy recipient, so especially like grandparents. Oftentimes this kind of thing can be overwhelming for them, but you can easily set the whole thing up. The box is created to be a giftable box. There's no price on the box. You can open it up. You can even set it up with your loved one's Wi-Fi so that all they have to do is open up the box and plug it in, and immediately they'll start seeing photos of the people that they love rolling across the screen. It is so easy. So you can buy it now and then save yourself time by preloading the frame with messages, photos, videos, all of that. This is such a good Mother's Day gift. If you are looking for a Mother's Day gift for your mom, for your sister, for an aunt, for a mother figure in your family, for a grandmother, for a best friend, maybe you just need to get yourself a gift for Mother's Day, I highly recommend the Aura frame. We have absolutely enjoyed ours so much, and our children are getting to the ages, which we'll talk about a little bit here in a minute, to where they are really just noticing things like that. And so very regularly, like pretty much every day or every other day, we will catch Nora, our 3.5-year-old, standing in front of our Aura frame and watching the pictures of her go by, and she'll remind us that that was when she was at the beach, and that was when she was in Disney World, and this was when we went to the pumpkin patch. And it's just really fun, and it's such a good conversation piece. Everyone who comes into our home always comments on it because it's a really beautiful digital picture frame. It doesn't have that really like techie look. It looks like a gorgeous picture frame, and it has a mat and everything. Like, we just love it. It's such a good gift, such a fantastic Mother's Day gift. So if you're looking for one, this is for you. Aura frames have been named the #1 best digital picture frame by Wirecutter, The Strategist, and they've been featured in hundreds of gift guides. So this is something that your mom or mom figure in your life will absolutely love. And like I said earlier, it's totally plug and play. You get it set up on your end, which it takes just about 10 minutes exactly. I've now set up 2 frames. 10 minutes is pretty much the go-to time, which is really quick. You pack it up, you wrap it up, or stick it in a bag with some tissue paper, and she will love it. And right now, Aura is running a great deal for Mother's Day, so any of my subscribers can visit the link in my description and get $30 off their Carver Mat frame, which is the frame I showed you just a second ago, plus free shipping. And this deal ends on Mother's Day, which is May 14th, so make sure to take advantage of it now. Thanks again to Aura Frames for sponsoring this video. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the struggle of babyhood, or at least for me. This is a video that has been brewing for me for a long time, and one that I have been a little bit skittish to make because I never want to come across as ungrateful for my kids. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that anything that's worthwhile in life is also really challenging. Like right now, I'm really working on getting in shape, and that's really challenging. And being in a marriage is something I always wanted and continue to want every single day. And I'm completely in love with my husband, and yet being in a long-term relationship is challenging, and on and on and on, right? So I don't think there's many really awesome things in life that come without a challenge, and motherhood to me is no exception. So when I was going into becoming a mom and trying to get pregnant with our first child, I had a little bit of like a unicorns and rainbows vision going on. Even though I had nannied and babysat for many, many years, I spent a lot of time around kids. I volunteered at Vacation Bible School. I taught Sunday school. I was a summer nanny, the whole enchilada. Like I really feel like I had probably more than many people, or maybe at least I should say just a little bit above average experience with kids. I really like spent my life around kids. And in fact, the job that I had before, the corporate job that I had before I had kids, was being the early childhood director at a large church. So kind of it's been something that's been a part of me my whole life. And anyone who knows me well knows that I just love kids and I love babies. So when I had babies of my own, I just expected that it would be the true joy of every day of my life. And while it is in some ways, it is also so much harder than I anticipated it being in other ways. I've always been the kind of person where if there's a baby around, I want to be holding the baby and snuggling the baby and rocking the baby and smelling the baby's little newborn head. And that's just me. I love, love, love little babies. And yet I didn't love the stage of motherhood of having little babies in my home. And that was something that was hard for me to reconcile because I couldn't understand it. Like even just a couple of weekends ago, we went to and participated in a fishing tournament and it was like an all-day Saturday event. And we met a lot of different people there, and we met up with friends, existing friends there. And one of the couples that was there was like friends of our existing friends. And so we were meeting them for the first time, and they have like a 3-year-old and then an infant. And immediately, like the mom was trying to help the son, the 3-year-old, and then the dad was trying to get things ready for fishing. And so they were figuring out what to do with the baby. And like without even thinking, I was like, if you're comfortable, I would love to hold your baby. So I held that sweet little baby and I rocked him and I fed him his bottle and burped him. And I love it. But it's one thing to do that and be a babysitter or step in for someone else, and it's another thing to live it and breathe it 24/7. And it was such a challenge for me, and it was not my shining best moment. I think that in all stages of life, and particularly in motherhood, I find myself often kind of mentally checking in on the scale from survive to thrive. Where survival mode is like you're, really trudging along. And then as you tick closer to that thrive side, you're really feeling emboldened and empowered and really enjoying every day and just having more of a thriving life. My babyhood days with my kids were a lot more on the end of survival, I would say. And I think can be attributed, just to sum it up really simply, to the saying of wherever you go in life, you have to take you with you. Meaning that sometimes we create these fantasy versions of ourselves and think, once I do this, I'm going to feel this way. And that's not always, it's really pretty much never true. You take you with you wherever you go. And so I am someone who is very introverted. I require a lot of time alone to recharge. I'm very friendly. I absolutely love to socialize, but that is something that drains me. And so I need time alone. I need to read my books and lay in bed and watch TV and cook with my headphones in, listening to music. Like I need things that just are for me alone. And that doesn't really happen in motherhood when you have little babies because they need a lot from you. I also am a very highly sensitive person, so I'm very highly sensitive to loud noises, bright lights, lots of stimulus, lots of input, which is to describe young babies and young toddlers. It's just a lot all the time. And that wore me out so much faster than I expected it to. And I just remember feeling like, what is wrong with me? Like, I feel like I can't catch my breath. Even on really good days, I felt like I was just absolutely treading water and just trying to kind of keep my head above water. And I put on a brave face and a big smile because I was so grateful and continue to be so grateful to be a mother. But that doesn't negate the fact that it can be so hard, and there are times when society's like, enjoy every second, enjoy every moment. And you're like, I am barely hanging on by a thread right now. There's no real enjoying every second. There's just enjoying a couple of moments, you know? And I just want to validate that you can love being a mom and love little babies and love everything like that and still feel like you maybe are just surviving. That was my experience completely. For me, another aspect of having to sort of take me with me wherever I go was my more ambitious, more entrepreneurial side. That's something that's been a part of me for as long as I can remember. I mean, when I was very, very young, I would do like sell these little grab bags on the corner of our street and do little lemonade stands. And then I had like a little day camp that I ran with my best friend when we were 8. And we had all these neighborhood kids come and their parents paid us for 3 hours in the summer, and we would like watch them and play with them. And I've always had that part of my spirit where I just really enjoy the challenge and the success of it and the grind of it all. Like, I just love it. And that's very evident in my career at present, where I have, you know, my online shop, and I have this YouTube channel, and I have my mentorship, and I have all these different pieces, and that fuels me and feeds me in a way that nothing else really can. Like, it's a part of me that is just like knit into my bones. And when I was pregnant and having my first daughter, I was thinking, I'm sure I'm not going to want to do any of that once I have a baby. Like, you know, I think I'm just going to want to be at home with my baby. And while I have been so blessed and so grateful to spend lots and lots of time at home with my kids, I had my daughter Nora in late October, and by late November, when Black Friday was rolling around, which is typically my biggest sale of the year, I found myself working many, many hours with her strapped to my chest in a baby carrier, just a tiny, tiny little tiny thing, and working to do the Black Friday sale, which I wasn't even sure if I would or would not run that year because she was only a month old at the time. But I very quickly, I mean, not even a month into motherhood, and I was a month in and like struggling with mental health concerns and postpartum mood disorders and all kinds of stuff. And even still, that little piece of me was like, no, I still like to work, and I still feel very fulfilled by that. And it's just the sort of thing of realizing that it takes different pieces of a puzzle to make a woman feel like herself and feel fulfilled. And there was a time in my life when I thought getting married and I would just feel completely fulfilled. And there's a part of me that was very filled up by getting married, just as there was a part of me that was very filled up by being a mom. And there's a part of me that's very filled up by my work. None of that is complete. And I'm a Christian, so I feel like God is really my ultimate fulfillment. God has created me and my personality to seek after things and enjoy things, and I believe that there's something to that. Like, I think when we really embrace who we were created to be and really work to find that balance, it really makes a difference. So I stopped fighting that I was a young mom with a baby, and I also wanted to continue to have my business going, and I started finding a way to integrate the two, and it was a worthwhile fight, you know, but it wasn't easy. Those early baby days for me, and actually Riley too, like Riley and I both really put our best foot forward. We were such a team effort, getting up in the middle of the night and doing like all those things. Like, I felt very, very, very supported going through like the first year of both of my kids' lives, but neither of us were really in like a thriving state. We were definitely more on the end of the spectrum towards survival. Both of us were just exhausted mentally, obviously physically, not getting tons of sleep, and then trying to make time for other things in life. To make time to connect with friends and family, to make time to connect with each other and have our marriage not fall to the wayside, to try to keep up with our house, which continues to be such a deep struggle. There are just so many things that get flipped on their head. And it was surprising to me how many days I was really not having a great time. And I felt so guilty, and I just felt like this is all I've wanted for so long, is to be a mom and to have a little baby or little babies. And especially once I had two, and I had, a 2-year-old and a newborn. Woo, I was like, what am I doing? This is so hard. And it was day after day of really being squarely in that survival camp and finding the joy in it for sure, but also recognizing that I was not in a state where I felt like I was thriving. And I felt so guilty about this, until a woman that I follow on Instagram, and I followed her for a long time, and she has 3 teenagers now, a set of twins, and then a younger daughter. They're all girls. Her name is Shelly, and she used to be a big time blogger, but now I think she more is on Instagram, and her handle is House of Smiths. And so I think she had 3 under 3 because she had her 2 twin daughters, and then she had her third. And she posted, it's been a while now, probably 2 years since she posted this, but it was so validating and so affirming. So if I can even validate or affirm just one woman the way that she affirmed me, this video would be worth it. But she talked about how when she was in little babyhood with her 3 and little toddlerhood with her 3, how it was not enjoyable to her. She felt like a shell of herself. She was in complete survival mode. She's very organized, and her house was always a disaster. She felt like she didn't even have time to catch her breath every day. And then she talked about the dichotomy of that versus having, at that time I think they were more in like the young teen, preteen age. Now they're a bit older. But she talked about how her girls at that time, she was thriving with them, and every day was so enjoyable, and every part of her just loved, like they could help her cook dinner and they could chat about their days, and it's just such a different type of existence when you have these older kids. And she was saying, don't wish the time away, because you will always cherish those precious young years. But it really, like, the best is yet to come. It really does get better and better. And my parents have said that to us, to their kids. Like, my mom has not been shy. She's like, I did not love little babies. She's like, 4 years old is when I really started to really thrive in motherhood. But she's like, there's nothing better than my adult children. The fact that we are adults and friends and we chat and like all of that is so special to have that kind of relationship. So I'm starting to see the light a little bit. My kids are 3.5 and 1.5. So my older one, Nora, she's like communicative. So when she wants or needs something, she can communicate with us. And it's not always totally reasonable because she's 3, but like there's a level of communication there, and it's so sweet, and I love it so much. And even my son, who is still so little, like he's 1.5, he is starting to be able to really communicate what he wants and needs, and his vocabulary is expanding every day. And so it's just getting easier and easier because it's not a total guessing game. Their sleep schedules are way more consistent, and we can kind of expect how long they're going to sleep and when they're going to sleep and all of that, which was not the case. We did not give birth to like some really fantastic sleepers, like love them, but they weren't big sleepers. I'm not nursing anymore, which as much as I enjoyed my nursing journey with both kids, it takes a lot out of you in every sense of the word. And so having that, like my body come back to me in that way has been really nice. So I guess what I'm just trying to say is, I know a lot of you have kids older than mine. A lot of you have kids right around the same ages as mine. And a lot of you are having kids, whether you already have 2 and you're having your third or you're having your first. I know that a lot of us that are here in this community are in the thick of motherhood. And I really am starting to see the light with my kids, where the days are just, they have more of a flow. My house is still a disaster thanks to my son Colin. He is a hot mess. I love him so much. He's so crazy. But things are getting a bit easier. I'm a bit more in tune with myself. We have like a meal plan again. I'm going to the gym again. We have a social life again, and like we go on dates. Things that for a few years there were just not, there was just no way. Like it just, everything felt so impossible. And I think it's a situation where every single stage of life, of motherhood with your kids is precious and it's to be cherished and enjoyed. But that doesn't mean that every single stage has to be your favorite stage. I mean, taking back to, like going back to the marriage example, my relationship with Riley right now is the best it has ever been. Like we are so in love with each other. We are so good at communicating. We very rarely argue or fight at this stage because we know each other so well now. We'll be married for 8 years this summer, and we've been together for just close to 10. And so over a decade of spending that much time with someone, like you get to know what makes them tick and how to, so like we communicate really well. We are finally having time, like after the kids go to bed, to actually sit and chat and connect. Like it's so different than it was even just 1 year ago. And it's amazing to me because you think, you know, that first year of marriage or the first 2 years are like that honeymoon phase, but it's sweeter now than it was then. And so I think that I have kind of come to terms with this fact that there are seasons of my life to come that are better than I can even imagine, and that are going to be more special and more fun and just more awesome and more of a thriving season than I can even imagine now. And that gives me so much comfort and hope on hard days. I love my kids being little, but I'm loving every stage. With Nora getting older and she's starting to just be more of like a little person, and it's so fun. It's so fun. And I'm just amazed by her and how smart she is and the things that she says and her emotional intelligence. And like if I'm having a hard day, she just totally knows, and she'll come up and rub my back and tell me she loves me and give me a kiss. And like, it's incredible. It's so incredible. So whether you are more towards the end of survival in your motherhood journey right now, or whether you are really thriving, or whether you're somewhere in between, which is kind of where I am right now. I feel like I teeter in the middle, and lately I've been feeling a little bit more like I'm leaning towards thriving, which has been so refreshing, but we still have some surviving days too. Wherever you are, I just hope that you keep your chin up and hold tight, because good things are still to come. And if you are in a season of motherhood in particular that is knocking you out, and you're just feeling really beaten up by it and really exhausted by it, and just feeling like, oh my goodness, I don't know how I'm gonna make it, I just encourage you to remember that everything is a stage, and you don't have to love every minute of every day to be an amazing mother, to love motherhood, to be so grateful to be a mom to your kids. It's okay to wave your white flag sometimes. In fact, there's a white flag emoji that I often send to Riley right around 5:30 or 6 p.m. Like, please come home. I need a little help. It's all good, you know, and letting myself feel the feelings that I'm feeling and accepting them and not being so judgmental of myself has been so freeing and so redeeming, and I've been able to then invest in my kids and love on my kids and enjoy where they are, even on the good days, the hard days, the awesome days, whatever kind of day. And it's just given me more freedom to move through life not feeling so boxed in, you know? So those are some thoughts. I hope that for at least one person, this is validating to you. And if you're not someone who totally is loving or loved the little baby stage, even though you love little babies, because being a little baby mother is very different than holding a little baby for 30 minutes. It's very different. But you still love being a mom, even if that wasn't your favorite stage. Like solidarity, I totally understand. It was something that was surprising to me, but makes a lot of sense actually, because my life felt totally chaotic, upside down, and out of control for a while there. And as much as I loved my sweet babies, I had a really hard time thriving in those conditions. So it's just sort of this balancing act. Anyway, those are sort of my rambling thoughts on motherhood and thriving, surviving, and finding your way. Thank you so much to Aura Frames for sponsoring this video. Again, you can get $30 off plus free shipping on your Carver mat frame with my link below, so make sure to check that out if you're looking for a Mother's Day gift for someone you love. Thanks again for watching this video. I will see you guys soon. I hope you thrive today in motherhood.